Hey guys, so this is part 5. I think I'm just gonna continue what I was doing with the last one. So, one thing that you may have noticed with the last one was I changed the volume of the clip, but I never actually played it to find out if the volume was actually right. One thing you should always do with these is when you change something, you should listen to it and listen to the before and after. That's something that'll really help with improving your work. So if we play this, yeah, so maybe make this a little louder. And once I get this to the right volume, I'll just forget about it. So let's play it. So now I feel like it's good, and I will never touch that knob again. So now what we should do with these is we should do like what we did before. We should drag these to a certain insert. So one thing you can do is drag this and look in the top left corner to see where it's going and wait until it hits an empty insert. So I see all those are being used, but insert 6 is not. And since I said I would drag these to the same insert, I will do that. So I put this to insert 6 as well. So now another important thing, we'll name the track. I'll just call it vocal clips. And then I will go to the mixer, which you can access from up here as well. Right click, rename, and call it vocal clips. And it's very important that you keep everything organized, because if you don't, you might either lose something that you thought was important or anything like that, really. So if we play it, first thing you might notice, maybe the vocal's really dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to add reverb to it, but we're going to do it a different way than before. And this is where I'm going to introduce sending inserts to other inserts. So the way we do that, I'm going to explain the example first. So what this is doing here is, by default, all these tracks are being sent to the master track, which is being sent out via the final output. So what we're going to do here is we're going to send vocal clips to the next empty insert by clicking this little icon, this sort of up arrow looking thing down here. So now the vocal clip is being sent to the master track, so the dry vocal clip is being sent to the master track, and now another copy of the dry track is being sent to the master track. But we're going to put reverb on the vocal, so we're going to name insert 7 vocal clips FX. Who knows, I might put other effects on this as well. So what we're going to do, like we did in part 3, I believe, we're going to slap an effect on here. So we click the little arrow next to the first one, and how about we'll just slap on the reverb too. So now I guess a good thing to introduce is playing with an effect. Instead of just slapping on a default preset, we'll play with the little parameters here. The most important thing, if you see dry and wet, and you have this sort of setup where you're sending the dry track to an effects track, the typical thing to do is to make the preset entirely wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag dry all the way down, and we're going to drag wet up to where it says 100%. So right about there. So now what we're going to do is mix the dry effect with the wet one. So now if we play it, obviously it's way too loud. So what we're going to do, one good technique to do is to just drag the volume all the way down, and then slowly drag it up until we feel like the volume's right. And as you can see, a little bit of reverb can go a very long way. So now let's just listen to the whole thing again. But here's one thing though, if you solo the effects track, nothing will work, or nothing will be sent to the track because you need to unmute the track that's actually being sent to it as well. So if you want to solo, essentially if you want to solo just the effect, you're going to want to remove the send to the master from the dry clip. So what we're going to do is have insert 6 selected. We'll go to the master track and deselect it. So now we're hearing just the just the reverb on the vocal. So let's just unclick that for now. I was thinking about showing the tutorial about the oh so famous sidechain compression technique, but there are multiple ways to do that, and I'm thinking I might as well just show that later on. So something else I actually missed from the previous tutorial, let's just go back to our audio clips. In order to access the rest of your stuff, you have to click this drop down menu in your channel display filter. It's or channel list, I'll just call it. I don't know the official name of it. It's in the manual somewhere. Doesn't matter too much. You just go to the drop down menu, which is called the channel display filter, and you can go to all, and all the stuff is now here. So let's just go back to audio clips. Let's go here. The one thing that I didn't explain from here was these knobs right here. So with a lot of stuff, again, experimentation, you can drag something and see how it works. If you're not quite sure how it works, I'd really advise looking it up and seeing and hearing how everything works, because that's very important. If you do something and you don't know what it does, then you do something else and you have to change the first thing, you may not know how to change it back, and that can lead you to a dead end. So the in knob will control the fade in. The out knob, which will make it look a little better, a little more obvious than the first one, you can see that it fades out the sound. Pogo, I think with this leads into yet another topic. You need markers on here and it'll do something. And crossfade, yeah, you can see like the marker right here and right there. It takes the beginning of the clip and puts it at the end and then fades it in with the end of the first one. And trim, sometimes trim is pretty useful. I usually just drag this up a little bit and it trims off the silent space at the beginning and the end of the clip. So I'd say for things that I don't explain 100% correctly, just look them up, or I'm definitely going to say, like, I don't know exactly what this does, Pogo Effect. I don't exactly know what this is doing. I guess it just puts a pitch envelope on the audio, which is yet another topic. See, this is one reason why I've been struggling with uploading these things, because I'll explain something that no one will understand to a certain extent if they haven't used any of the software before. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Another way to control the pitch, besides the pitch shift, is this little knob up here. And there's yet another topic, which is there's another useful thing for this knob. But yeah. I'm probably going to go more in depth with this knob once I get into more vocal syncing and fine-tuning stuff. I'm trying to make this as basic as I can. Alright, so I guess that's it for part 5. I've decided at this point I'm just going to go through and show the working process while explaining things, and eventually I'll cover everything. Alright, that's it. Hey, so here's just a real quick note. If you send the effects this way, where you have the dry track go straight from there to the master track and also to the effects track, if there are any plugins that you have that have any sort of lag at all, the lag will not be accounted for when you go straight from dry to master. So if I play the way that I did it before with just the two inserts, you can hear that it sounds kind of strange, like there's something that doesn't sound right. So the proper way to do it is to have one insert for just the input and then send that to two other tracks, one of them being just the sound and then the other one being the effects. And you'll be able to hear the difference. You hear the other one, the second one comes right out and it sounds correct. And the reason why that is because there's phasing issues with the first one, meaning that since there's a little bit of a delay with the effects track, it's causing some of the frequencies to cancel out, and that's what's causing that strange high-end noise to come in. With this one, the lag is compensated for with the dry and the wet, and both of these hit the master track at the same time, and that's why the second one sounds much better. I guess that covers the point, so I'll see you next week.